Hey Bubble family, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a little bit of a different video today because I was going to do some research on the book, but quite frankly, as I sat down to do it, I was just like, oh, do you know what? I'm not feeling it today. So I have decided not to do that. So this video, welcome for anyone that is new to the channel. Thank you for joining. If you want to know a little bit more about me and what I do, my name is Ems and I'm a qualified therapist and life coach. I have a video, an intro video, which I will hopefully put up here or here. But it is on the beginning part of my channel, where you can find out a little bit more about me and what the Bubble family means. And yeah, just see if you would like to stick around for more videos. As for the rest of you, if you would like to come with me and just have a little general chit chat on what is going on in my kind of overall view of the book so far. I'm going to talk a little bit about bullying. So if you want to join me on that, then well, you know what to do by now. And if you don't, join in, sit back, relax, whether you would like to grab that drink of choice, whether it be tea, coffee, or maybe you just don't fancy a drink and you fancy a sandwich. But, you know, today mine is cappuccino. And if you'd like to add a little something to that cappuccino, like some people do, a shot of Baileys, what else, some kind of liqueur, then why not? Because as I always say, it is 5 o'clock somewhere. So grab your drink and let's dive right in. So, hey Bubbles, hey to everybody. Like I say, this video is going to be a little bit different. It's probably a little bit more of a waffly video than it is kind of more kind of constructed videos that I've done. So I'm just going to give my little view on how I think about the book so far, my views on Harry and Meghan, if they've changed. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about bullying. And I have touched on bullying before, but I kind of want to do a little bit of a refresh. So the book so far, it is quite draining, not going to lie, but I am quite fascinated by the little read between the lines moments like I've done and I hope that that is transcending across to you guys when I do these videos. And I certainly see in the comments that people say, why are you still talking about them? You know, that, you know, stop making them relevant. Listen, they're going to be relevant because the media creates them to be relevant. It doesn't matter whether we talk about them or don't talk about them. It's going to make no difference to the fact that the media talk about them. However, what I see in the media is the media doesn't talk about the truth. Gone are the days when we are getting honest journalism. I know, you know, if there was ever such a thing, but I think there used to be, where they would try and be, you know, they would want to find the truth out. They're not speaking the truth about Harry and Meghan. They're not. Because if they were, there will be a lot more coming out about the children. There'll be a lot more coming out about their relationship, the way they behave, and they're not. They're not. So what happens then? And this is not just about those two. It's about things in general, people in general. So what we do is we rely on people that run YouTube channels to speak the truth, to bring things out that the media are not doing their job anymore. And I think that's a lot of the reason why a lot of the media is trying to censor people, because they're not liking the fact that people are now turning to YouTube to get their information, you know, or social media streaming to get their information. They don't want that. But then like I say, they're not printing the truth. And so for me, I think it's incredibly important to highlight these things, to keep going until there is no need to keep going. All the while the media isn't printing the truth about people or what is going on, whether it be the government or whatever it is. I think it's incredibly important that we keep highlighting. Otherwise, where are we going to get our information from? We know that things are being censored. We know that. So it's important for people like us to give out what we think is true, and whether it's backed by facts. Now, a lot of the time, you know, I'm going by a lot of things that I've read or my own kind of professional opinion, but we are kind of all in the same, you know, we come to the same consensus that, you know, these things are happening. You know, we know that there are things happening behind the scenes here. So that is why one of the reasons why I keep talking about them, because especially when it comes to narcissism, because let's be honest, they have created this ability for us to show people firsthand, this is what it looks like. You know, when we've watched, you know, even the AH and Johnny Depp trial, showing firsthand what someone that behaves like that, this is what they experience in a relationship. This is how they are. This is the truth. And if that wasn't exposed, then people would still be blaming Johnny Depp for the breakdown of the marriage, when actually now everyone can see, thanks to the people that have exposed her, you know, Incredibly Average, who exposed the tapes, and then the Umbrella Guy and other people, Popcorn Planet and people like that. Whether you like them or don't like them, it doesn't matter. They are exposing the truth, and it matters. And that's why a lot of these people, they try and get them shut down. Freedom, I don't think freedom of speech is any more freedom of speech anymore, to be honest. But as long as I can keep going, I will keep doing what I'm doing. When it comes to behavior, if I can help one person not get into a narcissistic relationship because they've watched one of my videos and perhaps some of the red flags are coming up in a relationship they're in, then my work here is worth it. If I can help one person get out of a relationship because they didn't think they're in a narcissistic relationship, but now they're really seeing it, or they're being made to believe that it's their fault and it's not, then it's worth it. And that's why I do what I do, because I want to help as many people as possible realize that you do not have to put up this type of behavior. So has it changed my opinion on Meghan? But yes, only in the fact that it's a lot worse than what I really first believed. And has it changed my opinion on Harry? Not really, but I will say that I do think that he is really under the control of a narcissistic personality type. So with that being said, knowing in my therapeutic background, I know how damaging that can be, and I know how all-consuming that can be. What I think is happening now is that all he's doing is trying to appease her. Because when you are in a relationship with a narcissist, what you'll try and do is you might initially fight back, but if you've not been able to get out, then what you do is you go along with everything they say and do, because you just want a quiet life. Because if they're happy, it's almost like you're topping up their happy tank. Every time you comply with everything they want, you're topping up their happy tank, and then they're nicer to you. It doesn't last very long. So you're consistently having to do stuff like that because you're forever wanting that version back. The version that she was in the beginning will be the version that Harry will be believing is still there. And he'll get seen snippets of that when she wants to love bomb him, when she wants to hoover him back in again. She will show that side of her. So he will think that if the manipulation is working, that he will blame himself. He'll be thinking that a lot of it's his fault, a lot of it's his family's fault, media's fault. He won't be looking at this and thinking this is her fault. He'll be deeply unhappy, and you can see that he's unhappy, but there's an element of that going on. And so what he'll be doing is doing everything to appease her, because it will make life more bearable for him. And in a way that's still selfish, because you're still attacking your family and doing those things. But you know, and I say I don't agree with that, and I don't think it's right at all. But I understand it as a therapist. I understand that's pretty much what I believe he's doing. Why he's not getting out of that relationship? Well, I think, and I've always thought, I think that she's got something on him. I think she's holding some leverage, and I think it's also potentially that he also knows that she's got people that believe her, and I don't think he wants to kind of deal with the fallout of what would happen if they did separate. That's why I do think they're living separate lives. I think they've kind of found perhaps some middle ground, albeit he's still miserable, that they don't live together, and then she just acts as a tag along every time he has to go and do something, because for the public, they have to look like they're still together and happy. And that's why you just see her literally dupe as delight on everything that happens. And he just looks, he tries to pretend, but then when he thinks that maybe the cameras aren't watching, you just see him just look lost. So I think that's exactly what's happening now. I think that she has some leverage on him, and that's why, and you can imagine her saying it, if you leave me, I will literally tell the world everything. And I think even Harry knows that that could be possibly potentially damaging for the royal family. And that's why I think the royal family aren't doing anything, because I think they know that she's a loose cannon. And I wouldn't say that they're not doing things behind the scenes. I think they probably are, but that probably takes a bit of time. And I think it will end up being that I think that they will end up possibly divorcing, and she will have to sign an NDA or something to that effect. But she will get a monumental payout, and she will probably I'll keep the house, I'll have this, I'll have that. And just to keep my mouth shut. I think that's where it will be happening. That's how it will probably go. And then I think what will happen there is that Harry will be shipped off to Africa. I think he'll be sent off to do humanitarian work in Botswana or wherever. And I think slowly but surely they will bring him back for the odd thing. And because he's not with her, they will slowly start integrating him back. But I don't think in the sense that he'll stay, but I think they'll integrate him back into the fold. So then he will have some of the privileges of being royal again. That's what I think will be happening. But that's just my opinion. So yeah, I do think it's important that we keep raising awareness to this, because bullies, for the most part, the best part is to ignore them, but it's not always that easy, especially if you live with one, you know, whether it be family, relationships, friends, or whatever. You know, it's not easy when you've got somebody along those lines, but it's doable. It's doable. Friends, most definitely, because you can walk away from a friendship, but when it's family, like I say, or relationship or whatever it is, then it's harder. But you know, I certainly see it online. You know, I certainly experienced that last year myself, and it's, you know, and I tend to pretty much keep myself to myself, so I don't align myself with anyone that's bullying outside in the real world. So when you experience that online and then it kind of filters into your real world, it's quite difficult to know how to deal with that. And even as a therapist, it's like I can work with clients and I can do those things, but what I've come to learn, and I had to kind of go through it, I guess, to learn that, is that when you are dealing with people online that bully you, the best way to deal with that is shut it down, is come off social media, or the platform that's creating the biggest problem. Like for me, it was Twitter. So the best thing I was to do was to come off Twitter. And thankfully, you know, no one that I don't think anyone that I really know is on Twitter. My boys are not on Twitter. So I think for the most part, that's how you have to deal with that, is shut it down, even if it's even if it's temporarily. You can, but I think the problem with a lot of youngsters is that their life is social media. And it's almost like they feel that they can't shut it down because it then infiltrates. And I do think that there needs to be better structures at school for this. Because for some reason, what can happen then is if a kid comes off social media because the bullying is going across social media, what will then happen is that they will then get targeted even more at school because they can't get access to them on social media. So there needs to be better things put in place. So these social media platforms need to create it to be a safer space. Too many people are hiding behind anonymity and attacking people. And even though it's died down, for me, it's still there. I still get sent screenshots of things that people are saying. So for me, the best option was to come off. And since I've come off, the only time I ever hear about it is when I'm sent a screenshot. Now, I appreciate that people are doing that to help me out, and I absolutely respect that. But the best thing I can do with that is do nothing, because when people bully like this, as a therapist, I know they're very unhappy people. They're angry, they're unhappy, something's going on for them. So if I call them out, if I say something, expose what they're doing, then what could then potentially happen is I'm then at risk of becoming the same as what they're doing. Because when you have a fan base, what will inadvertently happen is that then some of your fan base then feel the need to defend you, which is what I had on Twitter last year. Now, this is different to raising awareness to someone like a celebrity, because where they're using their power and influence to manipulate and lie on a huge scale, we rely on people like us to expose that. And in a way, influencers can kind of do the same. So if someone chose to expose that person that wasn't connected, then that's their choice. But when you're the person that's dealing with it, I also think the best thing to do, for the most part, unless you have to go to the police about something, is to ignore it. Because these people are just not, they're just very, very unhappy people. And I don't want to be responsible either for ruining somebody. Like, for example, if I had a huge following, I would never be okay with, well, I'm going to expose something about somebody or say something about somebody and then have my thousands of followers go after them. You will never, ever see me doing something like that, ever. You will never see me bully somebody else, because not only just because I've experienced it myself, but because it's just not who I am as a person. Now, if something's said about me, I can't control that. If someone wants to lie and put something out, can't control that. They can do what they want. And I'm not gonna take my time and energy to try and convince them that what they're saying isn't true, because it doesn't matter. I know who I am. The people that know me, the people that love me know who I am. You guys, hopefully, are following me because you believe in me and know who I am. Now, if at any point you don't, then you have a choice to not follow me, not watch my videos. You don't have to like me. There are plenty of people out there that don't like me, and that's okay. I'm not going to change their mind. It's not to say I don't care enough, but in a way I kind of don't, because they don't matter. What matters to me is the people that matter to me, is the you guys, my friends, my family, that you matter. The Bubble family matter. People are always going to lie about you. And especially when you start a platform and you start becoming a little bit more noticed. But even if my platform shut down because everyone decided that they didn't like me anymore, then it doesn't change the fact that I still am who I am. It doesn't change the fact that I'm a therapist, that I can still work with clients. It doesn't change any of that. It just means that I just don't have this avenue to work on anymore, and that would be a real shame. But it doesn't change me, and I think that's the core thing. Is when you're being bullied, is people sometimes let it change them, and that is when you give the bully power over you. When what they do can affect you. And I know that more than anyone, because I went through that last year. And I did let it affect me initially. But then it's like, then I had to have a word with myself. And I was like, come on, these people don't matter. They really don't. You know who you are. And that is what you hold dear to, hold true to. As long as you know who you are and your immediate family and friends know who you are, that is really all that matters. Now, if you're dealing with something outside of that and you're watching this channel, then if you want my support and help, or you want some advice, then please feel free to put it in the comments or write me an email, because I appreciate there's always that situation that can be a little bit different, a little bit more complex. But for the most part, if you're seeing things on social media that you don't like, don't watch it. If you're seeing a video that you don't like, don't watch it. Don't watch that channel. If you're seeing things on Twitter, either come off Twitter or block the person. Like I've always said, use your critical thinking, use your brain that God gave you. It's there. Don't put up with things if you don't have to. Find a way to remove yourself from that situation. A lot of people don't read the comments because it affects their mental health. And I understand that. And that is the reason why I have done the channel the way I have, because I want to read the comments. So what I don't want is to then not be able to read the wonderful comments that you give me, because I'm allowing other comments to come through that are vitriolic and hateful and bullying and attacking. So I eliminate all of those comments. And then what that does is it then frees up the fact that every single comment that comes through, that's left, is wonderful. And the bubble family feels safe. And that's exactly what I want. Exactly what I want. Now, I appreciate that not every channel does that, and that is their right not to do that. You know, if they don't want to look at their comments, or they look at the first 10 and then don't look at any others, that's okay. But that's not how I run my channel. That's not how we want this bubble family to be. So I think we can only kind of do what we do in our little corner of the world. And I just kind of wanted to put that out there for you guys, because I know that I get a few of these comments, you know, about bullying and how do you deal with that. And I think I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. And like I say, and I've been through that myself, and maybe I needed to go through it to kind of now experience what it's like, and now I can help other people that are going through it. You know, I have stepped back from it. I have stepped back from people that are around it, not because they were doing anything wrong, but because it was almost by association, and I had to, for my own mental health and for the health of my clients, I had to step back from it all, because you just get so, you go down that rabbit hole, and you get so entrenched in it that even when you're dealing with people that want to support you or help you, and you're getting comments or screenshots, you can find yourself getting drawn back into it. And I don't want to. It's not that I don't appreciate people trying to help. I absolutely do. And I really appreciate them looking out for me. But it took a lot of my time and energy last year, and I don't want to deal with that again. I just want to get on with the channel, and I just want to help people, but I will always raise awareness to those things. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Tomorrow I will be doing a very, very short video tomorrow, where I'll talk about the new members that have come on board, because I have got my family down. I'm taking some time off, but I will be doing the live with Trev tomorrow at 7 p.m. So I will be doing that wherever he is in the world. We are still doing that 7 p.m. UK time. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you are, like I say, if you are experiencing bullying, talk about it here in the group. That's what it's for. Or reach out to me and I will get to you. Like I say, I appreciate that I'm backlogged, but I will just put urgent in the reference bar, and I will see you and I will find you. So aside from that, thank you to everybody who is supporting the channel in whatever way you do, whether it be you are just subscribing or watching, liking the videos. And thank you to everybody who is just being wonderful. Thank you for the comments that I see, just the general real love and support that I have here, that we all have with each other here. And let's keep doing that. Let's be different. You know, we're creating something here. You know, let's just keep being different to other things out there. There's too much negativity in the world, and what we're bringing here is some really great positivity, love and respect. And I appreciate you all for that. And but thank you to everyone who's bought me a cup of tea. Thank you to everybody who's been buying my merch. All the links to everything are in the description box. They will always be there. So for any of you that worry about that, but if you haven't got access to the description box, then just send me a comment and I will, with whatever you want, whether it's my email, and I will get back to you. So in the meantime, have a great rest of your day. No, there isn't any waffle now, because I feel like I have kind of used this video as a bit of waffle. But I hope that this helps you in some way, because that is really ultimately what I want. So take care, and I will see you guys tomorrow or at the live. I love you guys. I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care, Bubble family. Mwah!